Hello out there, all you wonderful people. This is Andre the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear, listening into another Gamer's Thoughts discussion. And I'm not certain if I've definitely done this discussion or not. I'm pretty sure I've hit along similar lines. But for all of the people that say that the Nintendo Switch has to be an 8th gen platform, even though it doesn't work with any of the equipment from the Wii U natively. It can't use the media from the Wii U. It's not backwards compatible with the Wii U at all. And the Wii U can't use any of the Switch's equipment. It's got me wanting to ask you guys a question. And that is, if the Nintendo Switch does get a pro update, whether that be that they put better hardware in the tablet, or they decide that they're going to make a new dock and utilize it like an eGPU, would that then make... Would that power upgrade for the Switch be considered 9th gen? Or would it still be considered 8th gen? Because I swear people want to, again, change words that have had a static definition forever. Like, generation is literally a time-based thing. It's never been based on power and capability. It's always been based on time. Because with time comes efficiency. Because there comes better methods. There comes advancement in techniques. Which I guess people just don't get that in the long run. But we're just going to go headlong into this. If you consider the Switch 8th gen, and then a Switch Pro comes out, but it is just theoretically on par with at least the PS4 Pro, because I think that is probably the weakest of the 4K machines out there. Or maybe, you know what, no. Let's make it let's make it somewhere between the Xbox Series, the Xbox One X, and the Series S, because the Series S is a dedicatedly weaker machine than the Xbox One X. Even though the hardware in the Series S is more efficient, it is still technically a weaker machine than the One X. So if the Switch Pro fits somewhere in there, just theoretically speaking, we count the Series S as a 9th gen machine, which is weaker than an 8th gen machine in the One X. Would that then mean that the Nintendo Switch is a 9th gen console? Just for you guys that call it an 8th gen console. I know where I stand on the issue because, again, I base generations on time. And I think this is just a popular thing to reinvent meanings for words that already have a sensible, dedicated definition. But here, just think of it that way. Because if you count the Series S as 9th gen, but it's weaker than the One X, then honestly it shouldn't be classified as 9th gen. And actually, the bad thing is, between the Xbox One consoles and the Xbox Series consoles, their controllers work back and forth. You can use the series controllers on the One consoles, and you can use the One controllers on the series consoles. I'm not certain if it works that way for PS5 and PS4. I don't know if you can use PS5 controls on the PS4. I know you can use PS4 controls on the PS5, but I don't know if you can use PS5 on PS4. Just not certain of it. But I'm trying to get people to understand where the flaw in their logic is. And I know I did the discussion last year sometime that the Series S proves that the Switch is a 9th gen console. But people are people and won't tend to take the time to think about what they're saying or what they're doing. So they'll just go along with the crowd because the crowd is the bigger and better way to go, and that's what sounds nice. But it's just one of those things where I'm like, huh. But like if you look at it, there's an easy. Unless Nintendo themselves came out and said, okay, this is a mid-gen refresh, which the Switch is wholeheartedly not a mid-gen refresh for the Wii U. It is not. It is not at all, even though the Switch uses a lot of the same things the Wii U did, or does a lot of the same things the Wii U did, albeit in a more expensive way. It's still not the same machine. They don't use the same media. They don't use the same online portals and stuff like that. Like they're not really tied to each other outside of the company that they come from. So that's something I think people just they're not looking at it. It's just like, well, we're just going to call it this, even though it doesn't make any sense. And it would make more sense to say that the series consoles are a gen refresh for the One consoles rather than saying that the Switch is a refresh for the Wii U. After what I explained earlier. I guess that's the thing that people are finding it hard to wrap their brains around. That's why I say generations are strictly based upon time. Hell, AMD has just recently announced or dropped a GPU that maxes out at 1080p. Like a brand new one. When they've already got 4K capable GPUs out on the market. Again, people don't like to listen. Generations are based upon time. You can refine things and make them more efficient. But hey, don't listen to the person that's just been around and into gaming all his life. Nope. Not at all. Like I would not happen to have any sort of understanding on this whatsoever. Like I don't get it. Like you could say the hardware is weak or whatever. Fine, cool, whatever. I agree with you. The Switch is weaker than most other hardware, and yeah, I assumed that the Switch was going to be hardware-wise at least the capability of the Xbox One. It may not have the juice to do it, but in terms of efficiency, it works. And I know I'm not the only one that remembers this, but companies were saying it was easy to port from the Xbox One to PS4 over to the Switch. Only when you introduce PS4 Pro and the One X did this become a complaint that it would be difficult to port games over. But that's almost the exact same situation that came with the Wii U. Just for everybody thinking about it, but I'm not going to keep going into that one. I've explained it more than enough times. I think, frankly, people are tired of hearing it from me. Like, on top of that, Nintendo Switch sales don't even count as Wii U sales. Like, Xbox One X and S count as Xbox One sales. PS4 Slim and Pro count as PS4 sales. But that's another thing to consider. Just like 3DS and 2DS, new 3DS and 2DS and new 2DS still count as 3DS sales. Do people not get that? Do people not understand that? Is that a hard concept to grasp? That they're separated devices? And hey, if the Wii U was Nintendo's 8th gen offering, then the Switch would logically be their 9th gen offering. Unless we're also going to not count the Wii as a 7th gen platform and count it as the 6th gen next to the Nintendo GameCube. I mean, because the PS2 was still selling during the time frame that the PS3 was around. It was selling really well, honestly. And had a lot of games and stuff coming out for it. Up until like the middle of the PS3's life. Actually beyond that a little bit. So it would be reasonable to consider the Wii a 6th gen platform at that point. Again, it's just me analyzing the situation. And I'm trying to, again, use people's logic across the board. The way they claim it works. And it doesn't. So I think I'm done cementing the Switch as a 9th gen platform for all those involved. And there's still going to be somebody who says, nope, Switch is an 8th gen platform. Deal with it. And for those people, I say there's no hope. But I'm done. I don't have a whole lot more to go on. And I know my tangents bounced here and there. But the overall consensus is, again, stop trying to make your logic work where it doesn't. Because then it makes you look dumb. But that's it. Thank you guys very much for listening in. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out, everybody.